Welcome to the Video Marketing Made Easy podcast, where we believe that video is the most powerful way to monetize your message, stand out in the market, and grow your business. In this podcast, we talk about practical strategies to grow your business with video. So if you struggle with growing your audience and getting the word out about your product or service, we're here to help you. I'm Josh Crandall, and we've got Dallin Need joining us again today. Hi, Dallin. How you doing?
What's up, everyone?
And we're going to be talking a little bit about gear today. We'll be going over some gear, some syndromes you might face. We'll hand over some valuable information
Gear
about valuable information on the gear required for content creation. And Dallin did a solo creator workshop. What was this? Was this last week, Dallin?
It was last week, same day. Yeah, exactly a week ago. Made it available because we were recording some training for all you here, and then an audience and customers elsewhere as well. And so, yeah, we're going to pull some nuggets from that workshop and share it with you today.
Yeah. And where can they go? I mean, people can go visit this website again. This workshop where you basically took them through how to make yourself look amazing on camera in your home studio, much like Dallin is set up right here.
Yeah, and it's a lot more simple than you think. Sometimes it's a few gear choices to get in your place, your space. But yeah, go to videosupply.com/workshop so you can learn more about what we did. We made it free to everyone, and then we now have it as just a small paid workshop, but it's about 2.5 hours long. There's a workbook that goes along with it, and we literally demonstrate step by step what it looks like to plan, design, and build your own home video studio. Not home video for home videos, but your home office video studio. And a big part of that is the gear choices. And it's funny, Josh and I were talking beforehand because video gear, video equipment is kind of like iPhones or the next coolest phone or gear or gadget out there. Because every single year, if not, it feels like every week or every month, they're announcing a new model, a new upgrade. It makes you think that they probably have 20 models already available in their inventory, or they're like, yeah, we have the technology, we could do this, but we're going to wait, to get to this point. And so because of that, there's a lot of decision fatigue and a lot of overwhelm. You go to Amazon and you're like, hey, I'm going to search for video lighting, and there's thousands of options. So the question becomes, how do I choose the right gear that I need for my space and for what I need to do to create more quality video content?
Yeah. And I just think about the rabbit holes that just sends you down anyway. I mean, like, you start looking at things and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to look at this review, or I'm going to see, like, do I need an LED, light panel, or do I need a studio light or a softbox or a ring light? And it's just like, there's so much time. What did you call it? Fatigue that's involved there. Yeah. And it's just, it can get really overwhelming. But Dallin's taking the time to kind of break things up into stages and talk about, like, all right, or levels, level 1 camera gear, level 2, level 3. We'll go over some of those, and what those entail. But there's a wealth of knowledge on the internet. I mean, there are people out there who are telling you these things, or like which product to buy or whatever. But we're going to dive kind of deeper into, those different levels and why you would go with them, or why you would choose somebody like an agency like Video Supply to provide your video. So I guess first off, Dallin, why do people get so engaged in this gear thing, or in trying to look good on camera? Like, what are the pros and cons to looking good on camera and to investing in some of this stuff?
Yeah, to me, a big aspect, and what I find with a lot of clients we've worked with, is that it's the ability to stand out visually. There's a difference between standing out visually and standing out with your message. And with standing out visually, when people are scrolling through their feed on Facebook, or name your platform, right, where your audience is, they're often going to stop and pay attention when the video and the visual stops their scroll. And usually that scroll stopping visual is going to come down to your choice of cameras, your choice of equipment, because everyone and their mom or grandma can go off and record something on their phone or their webcam that's directly on their computer. But what they can't do is, and not everyone is doing, is customizing their space and their equipment to make it look a lot more professional. And there's definitely a time and place. Videos can perform really well, if not even better sometimes than the most professional looking video. But why not feel confident and look good while you're creating content and make it as easy as possible to hit record and get your message shared? And so that's part of the goal with recommending these different video equipment solutions, and outlining these different levels of equipment, is that it's customized for any budget, any business level you are, and particularly for those who are beginners, who are not super techy, not very familiar with what is available out there and what some of the best recommendations are today. And so let's just jump right in. Level one. The level one of investment for your budget for video equipment is free. You don't spend any money, and you use literally the equipment that you have on you. This saying I heard years ago, and I love to use, is the best camera you have is the one you have on you. So that's usually your webcam or your phone, right? And that stuff's free. We'll put free in quotations, by the way. You paid for it at one point, of course.
Yeah.
But it's no additional investment for you right now. And so, yeah, Josh, what else would say this free budget level look like for equipment, camera related, lighting, all that?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a basic need these days, at least if you're in the United States, I think, to have something like a laptop, or a home computer, or some sort of computer device that has a camera built in. So my laptop's got a camera. So basically what we're talking about is things you've already invested in. You've already spent the money. It's a sunk cost, and you carry it with you. So, I mean, flip phones back in 2005, I bought one with a camera on it, So, I mean, they've been integrated for forever now. And so like my phone here, I've got 2 lenses on the back, and you can use this for lots of content creation. I can create blog posts. I can create YouTube videos. I can edit it right here on the phone, and I can upload it. And it's just an amazing tool. So basically, and I think they're very underutilized, honestly, when it comes to the potential that you've got in your pocket to be able to share your message or to, market your product or your business. But really, free is really just grabbing what you've got. And there's so much that you can do that, like, even a fine-tuned professional will roll up to a shoot sometimes and be like, hey, I like this window light, let's just stand here and I'll either accent with one light behind you and we can roll, right? And it looks very professional. So
speaking of which, let me show you this real quick. So I've got an actual light above me right here that I turned on. But I honestly, for the last month or so, since I've been doing this setup, I'm gonna make sure I'm close to the mic. I haven't always had it on. So I still have the window behind it as an option, but I have this here just in case it's dark. So I'm gonna turn it off. My camera's gonna auto adjust, but you'll find that, see, the lighting still works really well. That's the nice thing about the camera settings I have, is it auto adjusts both with focus, but also with lighting. So it still looks really good, right? You can still see my face. That's the focus. But this, adding an additional light, which we'll talk about in a second, helps out. I'll be blown out for just a second, then I'll auto adjust. So that way it's not too bright. And so, it does make a big difference. But natural light is honestly some of the most flattering light you can have out there. Never, I mean, the free lights that you have accessible, if you don't have to, try to avoid using house lamps or your ceiling lights in any way.
Yeah, I've got mine, and it's creating, downward shadows under my eyes. I'm taking a pass here because I'm doing a podcast, right? But no, the
audio first.
But yeah, exactly. Like, you can walk into a room and say, hey, I'm going to use this large window that's going to give me soft light, and I'm going to use a small light behind me. And then you're not, like, packed in your space with too much invasive gear and whatnot. But really, level one is if you've got the skills and the knowledge to be able to utilize the things around you, then uh, then you can make things happen. You can make things work, and if people do know who you are or you're easily recognized, sometimes it doesn't matter like how good the image is. It's you and your message, right? You're already a trusted professional. So, but being able to step up to level 2 and level 3 and giving that more professional look, it definitely is scroll stopping. Um, and it's also desirable. I mean, when you when you want to invest the time and money to be on camera and to share yourself as a brand or be the face of a brand, you want to look good. And so you can up the game a little bit and up the image, and by doing so, stop people in their tracks.
Yeah.
So what do you think if you jumped to level 2?
Jump to level 2. We were
All
talking
right.
about what gaming in arcades, like old retro games before this, and we're gonna level up. You just
Yeah.
powered up to level 2. And in level 2, the budget's all about investing really like $100 to $1,000, that range. Anything less than $1,000, and that includes that's included for all your equipment, by the way. The camera, lens, lighting, audio. There are options to be able to do all of that for less than $1,000, which is insane. I mean, if you minus this light, I mean, if I kind of go down the bare bones, I technically have a level 3 gear, but the budget could be around $2,000 to $3,000. So it's not much more. And granted, that's part of our business is this content quality side. But yeah, in level 2, it's all about focusing on kind of the trifecta of video equipment. That is the camera choice, the lighting choice, and the audio choice. Without one, it's kind of like you're missing one leg on your 3-legged stool. They all balance each other out. You find that with a nice camera and a nice lens, as that package deal, then what's complemented well with that is a quality microphone. You definitely want to have a quality microphone. And then quality lighting. And I would in fact put quality audio as number 1, and then quality image as number 2, and then quality lighting as number 3. But yeah, like we have different gear recommendations available in the workbook for solo creators. But just as a quick reference, what I'm using here is a Canon EOS R. But there are plenty of DSLR style cameras that allow you to then plug in with the USB cable and then put it into your computer. And Josh and I often use CamLink 4K by Elgato.
Yep.
And it's just an easy way to plug it into your computer so it acts as a webcam. So like whenever I could be on a Zoom call with a client, I could be doing this podcast, I can be recording videos. You may even find sometimes I look down because we're broadcasting this, right? And so I can see what I'm looking, like what I look like, and kind of test the lighting that way. Another key element too is an autofocus lens, because you'll find if I'm going clear back here, I could be out of focus. And so luckily, like a built-in webcam helps autofocus, but it makes it look pretty good. And then my microphone, this is a Sennheiser. I don't even know. Sennheiser. See, it's Sennheiser. A German name, right?
Yeah.
German brand. So it's plugged
sure.
into an audio mixer, audio box. And so I should just take a behind the scenes shot and post it.
Yeah, but really you can get into this level 2. You can get some really good stuff in level 2. And the reason being is because you can really dive into some used gear that functions extremely well, especially if you're just going to be using it as a better image producing webcam. So like me, if you look at me, I've got a regular webcam on the top of my monitor, and I don't get any depth of field, which means basically if you look at the image that Dallin has, he's sharp and in focus, but what's behind him is not. And so it's this nice focus that's they're on Dallin, but for me, the whole thing's in focus. And Zoom and other apps have the ability to, at a click of a button, they try to blur what's not the subject. Um, but it's noticeable, and it's not really that desirable. But it gets the job done. But yeah, in the $100 to $1,000 range, you can easily get stuff that performs well, and some of that is just accessories. Like I've got, so with my phone case, this is from Moment, and I've got also a lens that I bought to give me a specific look that I want. And so this is an anamorphic lens for my phone, and what all I do here is I click it, or I twist it here in the phone, and now I've got an anamorphic lens. And if you don't know what that is, it just basically stretches the image. Um, and this one's got some lens flares, so it's pretty cool. And I've used it a bunch, and it gets this really wide, beautiful image. And Moment's got an app, but that setup here, you buy the case and you buy the lens. I think I spent $130 to get a different look, out of my free system. So, level 2 would be buying something like a lens for your camera, or getting a nice microphone that you can plug into your iPhone or your, cell phone, that you can get better audio. But really, you're taking the tool available to you, and you're leveling up so that you get prime audio, and also a better image. So really, there are people out there on YouTube who are making videos about how to create your own like YouTube studio on one desk for under $1,000, and you get a really good look with depth of field. So really, if you want to level it up, it doesn't take much. So
yeah, it doesn't. Well, and it's a big aspect of this, and a lot of people I know bring this up as a concern, is your space and what's available. Sometimes your office at home is also doubles as your bedroom or as a kid's playroom part of the day. And so you may think that, hey, it's not realistic to always keep this equipment set up and at the ready. Or if I do keep it set up, how do I know how to operate it? Or how do I know what gear works for the dimensions of my room? Because there's a lot of things to consider. For example, this camera, which has an autofocus lens, it's shifting as needed. I literally shove into one corner of the room, so that way I have as much space behind me to create that blurry background that Josh said is, the depth of field. And so understanding the space of the room, and then literally designing what shows up behind you, everything within frame. If I go to a wide shot here, I didn't maybe consider all the side details, right? Where you can see in the lower corners, I've got parts from my desk behind me that I typically remove, or this tree behind me, I usually move over as well. But there's a lot of details to consider, but the simple side of it is first start with a quality microphone and a quality camera. And you can do all of this under $1,000, plug it into your computer, and then with a Camlink 4K, and be off to the races and start to look pretty good. I mean, yeah, I'm a handsome guy, but making this, I couldn't get through that all the way. But adding these additional equipment choices really helps you feel more confident. Even if you don't shower that day, or you don't do your hair, you got a bed head. I kind of laugh sometimes because Josh and I both work from home. We run our business in a distributed way virtually. And there's some days we shower late in the day, or like I realized I should have gotten rid of my bed head. But guess what? Those details aren't near as noticeable when you can hide them with how you light yourself and the different video equipment choices you have. Anyways, enough about me with how good looking I I think I am. But level 3 equipment. So this is everything $1,000 or more. And as I mentioned, this setup, I'll share a behind the scenes image in the comments down below, is several $1,000s. So it's in level 3. And one thing to ask yourself before you go off and invest thousands of dollars in equipment is, are you interested in becoming more of a professional solo creator, filming all professional looking videos by yourself? and getting in that comfort zone where you know exactly how to do it. Their tech is no longer an issue. If that's a big yes, then by all means, like invest in the equipment that we recommend. But if you're like, bah, like I just want some decent stuff, but when I go to film a lot of my professional videos, I just want someone else to do it. I don't have to worry about any, I don't want to have to worry about any of the tech. Then that's when you go and hire an agency to do it for you. And that's definitely a big question to ask yourself before you jump into this. But in level 3, like that's where you can start getting into some of the best gear that's out there. And it's actually doesn't have to break the bank. And particularly if you're in business and content is a variable, which it is for every business who's interested in growing and doing marketing to actually get them more visible, capture attention, and get the leads and sales that they need to grow. That's everyone. Content is essential. Video is essential. And so in order to create more professional looking content, then definitely invest into level 2 and 3 equipment solutions.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that there's also a component of the more expensive or the level 3 equipment in that uh, typically tends to be longer lasting. So I took an audio production class in college, and this is I think this class I took in maybe 2010, maybe it's 2009. But basically, I'm using the mic that I bought for that class. He's like, hey, I kind of scored a deal for you guys if you want this, audio interface and a microphone and a microphone stand, so that basically you can record whatever. So I think we spent $200, and I got a kit that's got this dynamic microphone and an XLR cable, a stand, and an interface. And I've actually have used it to create an album. Like my friend and I had a band in college, and we made a whole album. So basically, like I'm still using that gear. This is 11 years old now to me, and so it's functioning great. So yeah, you're gonna get some longevity
Incredible.
out of your investments, and and when you get there, I don't want to downplay like the professionalism that's required to operate that equipment when you start getting up there. But once you figure it out, then yeah, a lot of headaches start going away.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
you
and now that was the biggest thing. I mean, I guess the first question before we move forward is, Josh, what was your band's name?
Yeah, Chasing Abigail, actually.
Yes. That's an awesome
We
name.
had a Yeah, you might be able to find us on iTunes still, but we've got stuff all over the place, I'm sure. I'm sure you could
Yes.
just type Chasing Abigail and
Go
there it'll
check that
come.
out. Um, yeah, and that's the biggest thing I recognize. If you feel like you're a perfectionist or even an imposter, you feel like an imposter. Well, some of the easiest ways to resolve that is to make the activities you need to do as frictionless as possible. Remove all the barriers. And I recognize there are really 3 primary barriers that keep people from creating content. There's technology, there's environment, and there's mindset. So mindset is internal. That's the hardest one to overcome. When you're thinking you're a perfectionist or you're an imposter and you have to fight through those barriers. But why not solve for the other 2 to make it much more easy or easier to create content? And so that's what I did personally for myself. I was like, okay, I need a dedicated space. So my environment needs to be set up for success so I can create content as easily as possible. So I have my own office in my home, which is incredible. And then technology. So I love technology. I'm kind of a tech geek. And so my tech is always set up. And so literally within a matter of seconds, in like the click of a few buttons, I can be recording and have, the light, the camera, the audio, everything set up all the time. And so it removes that friction. And so the only excuse that I have is that, oh, I'm not feeling up to it, or I feel like an introvert today, because I have used those excuses before. Or I'm too busy, like all those are mindset related. And that's a whole nother thing to resolve for yourself. But recognize that there are those 3 barriers that do exist, and that our hope is that through implementing these video gear and equipment solutions, you can eliminate 2 of those 3 roadblocks and make it as easy as possible to create quality professional looking content.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, like the power that you have, right, readily available to you, like start somewhere. I mean, it's so easy to get caught up in thinking or kind of leaning on the crutch of, well, I don't have the equipment to make myself look good and to get the content out there. You really do. Uh, and if you learn the tricks, you can make yourself look really good for free, really, with what you have in your pocket, and then level up from there. Level up, level up.
Level
My daughter
up.
was singing that song in the car. It came on. It was pretty funny. I was like, you know this?
How do you know
but
this song?
but
But
yeah.
that's yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I was just gonna. That's what I was saying. Is just basically that you know you can really do a lot with just free, and then go up from there. So
Oh, hands down. Well, what we want to invite you to do is when you're ready to transform your business from invisible, the best kept secret, unseen, unheard, to unforgettable, that visionary brand that you know that you are, we are putting together a five-part documentary series that releases on June 1st. And you can go to videosupply.com/series to join that waitlist, get your free ticket. And through this series, what we're going to do is show you a look at yourselves to figure out how can I do this for my own business. And all of this is super powered by Video Supply, this system of using video to grow your dream business. And so we'll walk you through what it looks like to work with the Video Supply system and even invite you to enroll inside of our Video Supply program. So again, that's at videosupply.com/series, and that's releasing here on June 1st. So thanks for watching. If you have any more questions around tech or gear, let us know down in the comments below, and we look forward to sharing more.
yes, indeed. Thanks, Dallin.
Thanks.
I'll catch you guys later.